Bill King's with us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, hosting on Nashville Sports Radio Monday through Friday from 6 until 9. He is the king of college football talk, and we always appreciate his time on a Tuesday afternoon. Bill, good afternoon. What's up? How are you?
Hey, guys. Doing good.
Good, man. We got last 6 games of the regular season in the SEC for college baseball, and Arkansas sweeping Texas last week. Vanderbilt's come on too, man. I did not see that one coming. Corbs has his team playing great baseball, and they're just playing a heck of a lot better than when the Hogs swept them. What's going on there?
Hitting the ball. I think that's been a problem consistently the last couple of years, and they certainly aren't a big power team, but walked off Alabama in Game 3 with a home run to dead center. They played a lot better, and the team 3 hours to the east is not playing well at all. Matter of fact, and again, guys, I do not have a long historical perspective on college baseball, but this is about as bad as I've seen Tennessee play in the 5 years I've been paying attention.
Well, the Hogs get LSU and then Tennessee, and then the SEC tournament. And Matt and I were just kind of kicking around some of the teams we thought might be able to contend for a national title. I'm looking at Texas, Arkansas. I think Georgia, if they get enough pitching, but I'm still not convinced about their pitching. LSU, I'll put Vandy in there, Auburn. And then I tell you what, I still think if A&M and Florida get in, and they probably do, I still think those two teams are talented enough to make noise in the tournament.
I'll tell you a team that I overlooked was Auburn. And again, not that Tennessee's all that good this year, but that's an impressive team, top to bottom. I mean, pitching, hitting, they have some youth. That's a very well coached. I know he's been there about 11 years, but that is a good-looking ball club. Remember, I don't think they even got in the SEC tournament last year. You could correct me, but
I think you're right. That's kind of amazing. And then on the other side of things, if you were to look at the worst programs in the history of whatever sport it is we're talking about in this league, and we just saw a Missouri basketball team 2 years ago go totally winless in the SEC, follow that up with a nice regular season and a bid to the NCAA tournament. And remember, we were here when Chad Morris went 0 for, and Brett Bielema had an 0 for 2. I've never seen anything as futile as Missouri baseball. Never.
I've seen a lot of bad Vandy football from the 70s to now. And obviously, with Diego Pavia and Clark Lee, the coach, they've done a good job, had a good year for them last year. I've seen a lot of really bad ball. But you're right. 0 for 20. They're 0-24 right now, correct? In the league. And I don't know where the relief is, meaning I'm not sure what's going to change.
No, I don't think anything's going to change. Maybe they'll put some more money into it next year because the athletic director was talking about it.
They spent money. I don't know about baseball allocation money, but heck, in football, they go out and they compete for players. In basketball, too. And I don't know that baseball is a big priority for them up there. It doesn't seem that way. Last time, I remember 2 years ago, Tennessee went up there to open the season. That's when Chase Burns was struggling in his second year, and Missouri won 2 of 3, and that was really tough because, as you guys know, you had Tony there. Tony's a Missouri grad, played there, but I haven't seen him play a lot of good ball.
Hey, Bill, we were talking earlier, that they gave the extension to the basketball coach there in Florida, and then we were kind of seeing, well, how much does it cost to get a good football team, college football? Are these teams spending upwards of $40 million if you're trying to compete to win a national title?
I think there was a Houston Chronicle story that said Texas is going to spend up to $40+ million. I think that's front-loading, get ahead of July 1. I don't think you'll be able to do that after July 1 if this House case is settled. I think that's until we get to July 1, and that is the defined hard date where everything goes in-house. You can spend $100 million if you want, literally. I think that's what that's about. I don't think you'll have that kind of money to spend, nor will you get it cleared.
So this is it's strictly only about the delay in the House case. That's what this is. So that makes this 3-month stretch one of the craziest 3-month stretches in the history of college sports. And of course, you center it around on football because of the money that goes into football. This is specifically this 3-month stretch is unprecedented in college sports then.
You could have Phil Knight or his, guy just like him at another school literally spend $100 million. Now, it's not going to happen, but I'm telling you, there are no rules. And that's what you're seeing, and that's why you saw that number attached to Texas, which I believe it. They've certainly got that kind of money. But you're not going to be able to maintain that if we are told that the clearinghouse is going to be as difficult as it's going to be. Now, that might not be accurate, but I don't think, on average, a football team is going to – I think you're going to be – first of all, that 20.5 number is for the whole athletic department.
Right.
And most of that's going to be football, and then the leftover will be basketball. But you got to give that to – whoever you're paying, you've got to spread that out, and then your collective can go raise the rest. But we are told the clearinghouse isn't going to let you go get a Nico and pay him $8 million.
So, I mean, from what I'm hearing, and I wonder how you view this, is the NCAA and its member schools playing with fire with Judge Wilkin because they're not they don't want to mandatorily grandfather in these roster changes and grandfather in all of the players that are going to lose their spots. They want to do it on a voluntary basis, which doesn't sound like that's what the judge had demanded in order to really give the thumbs up to this class settlement. So it almost seems to me like, I don't know. I mean, I almost feel like she may deny the settlement and this thing may go to trial, Bill.
Very well could. This is her last case, apparently, and she didn't have an emotional investment in this. It wouldn't hurt her feelings at all to just say, the heck with all of you. I'm told that they're trying to put together a package that'll be agreeable. Now, I don't know where they're at with that, but that's what we're being told.
Hey, with the D coordinator, Knowles, that went to Ohio State, that now he's currently at Penn State, and then he comes out and says they just never really offered him a contract. Is there anything? Are you reading anything into that?
I didn't see the quote, but I can tell you what happened. They weren't getting along during the season. Jim Knowles and Larry Johnson, long time. Speaking of Penn State defensive line coach, and now he's been at Ohio State for a stretch. They disagreed on alignment, and it got real bad. It happened Oregon when they got beat, remember, and Will Howard messed up on that last play. Of course, won a national championship with it too, but no. There was a lot of infighting over defensive, particularly the front seven strategy, and they couldn't coexist. And that's probably, again, I did not see the quote, but that is a fact. They were not getting along.
Wow. What do you make of this 12-year agreement with Clemson and Notre Dame? Home and home. I mean, to me, it's Notre Dame saying, you know what, we're good with this ACC agreement, but we'd really like to make sure that we're playing a good team every single year because you're just not sure if the 5 games they get are going to involve teams that help out their rankings, truthfully, and that's what this is all about. So now they're always going to play a team that's going to be probably helping with their rankings as long as they win.
Guys, they haven't lost many ACC games in the last 5 years. I mean, maybe Clemson once. The other item is this is the best Notre Dame program that they've had since the early 90s. This team is a national championship threat. Now, they're going to introduce a new quarterback, C.J. Carr, who's young. That's got to work out. But this team, top to bottom, is probably as sound and loaded with athletes as any program in the country. And I think this is also a sign that they're not afraid of a matchup like that. They feel like they can go head-to-head with Clemson and beat them.
Now, I want to skip up to the Big Ten here for a quick moment before we let you go because I see where Sharon Moore is going to take a voluntary, I guess it's a voluntary suspension, or the school is imposing it upon him, and feels a lot like, Harbaugh doing a voluntary suspension a couple years ago. Is Michigan supposed to be any good this year? I figure Ohio State's taking a step back. Is this a year Penn State can actually emerge in the Big Ten and win the championship in that league?
Penn State's a legitimate threat to win the league, no doubt. This could be the best team since the 16 team, and probably a little bit better maybe in some areas. Now, they weren't good at receiver at all, as we saw. That probably will get remedied in the portal and in recruiting. They've got a very good quarterback when he's right back, Drew Aller. Yes. And I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in Michigan's program under Sharon Moore if you take the conversation to are they a national championship threat? And I don't think they're in that capacity. And I don't think they're getting players, despite getting the top-rated quarterback in the country, like Ohio State is.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Bet Online, the game starts here.